Hi guys and girls, I'm Obsidian Ant and welcome back to Elite Dangerous, the Engineers. Today I'm going to take a look at an upgrade with the Engineers, in particular the FSD drive. Now I've got the recipe here already. I've been to see Elvira and that's who I'm going to get the crafting done with. But before I do that, I want to try and head out and collect some of the needed materials. Now you can see I've got most of them there, but I still haven't got all of them. In particular, I'm missing some arsenic. But I also want to try out and get some more of these same materials I've already got, just so that I can have a few more rolls of the dice. Now there's a good chance you may have played this yourself if you've done beta, but if not, you may have seen in my other looting video that you can now get loot or materials from many different locations. One in particular is through combat in the extraction sites here. So I'm out here in my FDL and I'm going to try and take down a few ships here, and hopefully they'll drop the materials that I actually need. Now the chemical processes I need, I believe, are only a class 2 or a tier 2 material, so they should be fairly common. But the thing is, they don't seem to drop all that often at all, and on occasion like this one, the target that you're attacking, they do like to run a bit, but there is a fix going in for that, and Frontier are going to change it. But at the point I captured this footage, which you can see is still during beta 2, before my graphics card exploded, the enemies here still ran as soon as their shields were done. Now I didn't always pursue them, it just wasn't worth the while. Much better to turn my attention to a nearer target, who I would hopefully be able to get destroyed before they ran away. So like I say, the chemical processes don't drop too often, but if you spend the time here, they do turn up eventually. The other thing I need is the atypical disrupted wake signal, and I'll show you how we go about getting that in a very short while. Now you may have noticed that the video quality here is back to the usual standards, and soon it's going to be even better still, and that's because rather rapidly I've managed to get the new system up and running, and that's all thanks to every one of you. Thank you so much for that, and it's really going to help this channel continue to grow, and it's going to help me to improve my output no end. After all, that's what it's all about. I want to make this channel the best it can be and give you all the best videos I can possibly make. All of the ships here drop materials when they're destroyed, meaning that there was now a lot to collect. So you can see here I've deployed the limpets to go and collect the materials that have been dropped from the NPCs. Overall I spent about an hour there in the extraction zone, and whilst I did find a couple of chemical processors, it did take that entire hour to just do that. So now it was time to go out and find the atypical disrupted wake signals that I needed. And for that I was going to head to the local station because there's a lot of traffic there and it makes getting the things I need that much easier. Now, as you noticed, as I've said, this was taken during beta 2, all of this footage. The end of the video, during the time I actually visit the engineer, will be beta 3, so we'll get to see if there's been any changes there. But in the meantime I was still heading out there trying to get all the components that I actually needed, and I did stop off in a few signal sources as I came across them en route to the station. Now at the moment it's still not too clear where you need to go and get any particular resource. So one, you can learn that from experience, but two, if you don't know up front, you can spend a lot of time going from place to place trying to find exactly what you need. Now Sandro Samarco on the live stream yesterday has said that that's something that they're planning on changing, and that in the recipe or in the materials description it will give you a very short brief description or brief note of where you may be able to perhaps find some of the materials. It's not going to handhold you, not going to guide you exactly to the right location, but it should offer a little bit of help at least. Now here I am outside the station, and look what happens when I scan one of the ships. Scanning them is just selecting them and pointing your ship towards them, and you can see there in the info panel on the top right I've now got a new data information. And you will receive all various types of this data depending on the ships you scan. Sometimes you'll get data information, other times you'll get thruster information. So it's quite handy, just sit around, scan as many ships as you can, even in a resource extraction site or conflict zone maybe. If you scan ships in combat you can get yet again different types of information. But the thing I needed was the wake signal, and to get that you need to scan a high energy wake. So you will need a wake scanner fitted to one of your utility mounts, and when you've got that you just fly up to the wake here and scan it. Now you don't get the result every time, but it seems to be about 1 in every 3 or 1 in every 2 that you will actually get the signal that you need. Now the component I need, which has so far taken the most time to find, has been the arsenic, and arsenic is found down on planetary surfaces in some of the materials down there. Now I did cheat a bit here, there is a little spreadsheet on the internet that tells you which planets arsenic can be found on, and that may well have changed now, because I've been to this planet here, which was one on that list, and I haven't been able to find any arsenic at all. I spent an hour here and found pretty much everything else, but not the arsenic that I needed. So I'm going to have to head back shortly and have yet another look. And you'll notice what will happen is that I'll switch from beta 2 here to beta 3. This footage was captured over the weekend, and I'm just now going to go and capture some new footage and tack it on to the end of this video, and hopefully I'll get the arsenic that I need. Now, down here on the planets, you can see the new surface material. The surfaces actually look vastly better than they used to. A lot more variety to the ground, and much more realistic too. I came across this point of interest and was curious to see whether or not the mining drones there would contain some usable materials for crafting. Unfortunately though, they didn't actually have anything that would be of use to me. One other nice visual change that has been introduced with this patch is some motion blur on the SRV's tyres. As I start accelerating up, just a look at them there gives a lot better sensation of speed, doesn't it? So, as I said, I spent a whole lot of time out here looking for that arsenic, but just didn't have any luck at all getting it. So what I'm going to do now is head back into the game. It's beta 3, and we'll see how things are going now. So what I did here was head straight to a high metal content planet, hoping that I'd be able to find some arsenic here. And I was interdicted almost straight away, and this really didn't go too well. Of course, what I really should have done, it being a new beta now, I should have had a look at the recipe, and I would have found out straight away that all the engineers only require fish now. Of course, I should have realised that, knowing that it's the Mayhem week, meaning that pretty much everyone can get every single module upgraded. You only need to upgrade it once and it will unlock the next grade for you, and of course the only components you need are fish, so I needlessly went out this way and got myself destroyed. But not to worry, it didn't take too long. What I did next then was made a beeline straight for Farseer Inc. so I could see Felicity and see if she would upgrade my FSDs. I did make a brief stop off to load up my cargo with fish, so we can have plenty of attempts here. Now, this is the first time that I've actually tried out upgrading a module of any type. On principle, I'm not too much of a fan of the whole RNG thing, but I always say if you don't give it a try, you don't know for sure, so let's see exactly what it's like. The first thing I thought of trying here though was to have a look at the commodities market, just to see if they were selling any fish here, which would of course make it easier if I need to do any more attempts beyond the 72 that I've got already. And of course they are selling fish here, so basically I can do as many upgrades as I like. So jumping straight into the workshop, we'll have a look at modifying the FSD. And you can modify the FSD in a bunch of different ways, but the one I want to do is upgrade the jump range. Now at the moment my ship can do just 26 light years, and I want to see how far we can actually boost that by. At the moment it's set up that if we just complete one upgrade here, it will unlock the next grade. No one knows yet how many times you're going to need to complete one of these to unlock grade 2 when it comes to the release version of the game, but essentially the principle is that you've got to upgrade many times and just throw them away, or keep them if you want them, and do it multiple times like I say, and eventually they will unlock the next grade up for you. So getting to grade 5 could take a significant amount of attempts, and it could take a significant amount of time. An element of gameplay that I personally call a grind, but it will vary from person to person. Some people don't really like to use that term when it comes to this game. First attempt then, let's see what happens. As it says there, if we discard the potential upgrade, it does use up the resources. And keep in mind that getting those resources I showed early on in the video can take quite a lot of time indeed. So three of them here are probably going to have a negative impact. One is going to have a positive impact, and that's the mass. So I will apply that and we'll see just where we were. There was 26.5 light years on my jump range before I started this, and we'll see what it is with that small little bonus there. Let's just go to the function tab, and we can see we've upgraded close to a light year, maybe half a light year, but not too bad of an upgrade overall. So now we can go to grade 2. Now obviously, like I said earlier on, this would take quite a significant amount of time before you're able to get to grade 2. You'd have to do grade 1 or various grade 1 modules over and over before you get this unlocked. But we can see straight away now in beta 3 that we're allowed to jump straight ahead, and If you look here, we've got more blue bars than we had before, so we've got the potential for more of these to have positive outcomes rather than negative, although it looks like they're all going to land on negative. Nope, we've got some additional positive ones. So let's see what we got this time. Now the secondary effects there can have modifiers on the primary effects as well. Sometimes you'll see them either increase or reduce the primary effects. So what have we got this time then? Straight up to 28.28 light years. So that it was indeed nearly an entire light year of an upgrade. So overall it looks like you get quite a good boost each time. Selected the wrong one there. I was wondering what was going on there with the different options. So grade 3, what are we going to get here? So it really is just rolling the dice, isn't it? It really is a bit like being in the casino on the fruit machines. Like I say, I'm not really a fan of this, not because of the randomness as such, but because it feels like you don't have much input at all in the overall process. And I appreciate that you are going to an engineer here, someone else doing the crafting for you. And I also can accept that in manufacturing there's a lot of tolerance or process tolerances, which gives you the varying degrees of outcome sometimes. But in this case, well, for me it's really about the amount of time you put in to get to this point. I'd much rather all the randomness be early on in finding most of the loot and the materials that you actually need. But then again, that's it. Please don't think I'm being negative or beating up on the game. It's just how I feel about this type of gameplay. I don't like putting too much effort in just to find something being random at the end of it. Now, I did only manage to catch half of the live stream yesterday, so I'm not sure if Frontier have actually said they want to put some changes in this. Do let me know if you've heard anything along those lines, because I'd very much like to know about that. Now, the other side of this is, the side I do like, is that it does give quite a lot of additional direction to the game, because now you can go out there and find all these materials almost everywhere you go in the game. There's some purpose to things. You can scan ships while you're in space, you'll get data. You can drop into signal sources and get various types of data and materials, or in combat, then you'll get materials or loot dropped from the enemies. And again, down on the planets, when you're driving around picking up the various materials, everything basically filters into this. And for me, I find that brilliant, because it really does give much more of a direction and much more of a purpose for the overall game. So whilst time is going to tell as to whether people actually feel that the amount of time they've got to put in is worthwhile or not for the outcome they're getting, again, it is a good groundwork for what can come later. Anyway, you can see now we've unlocked grade 4 for the FSD. Let's see what sort of boost this gives us. We're already around the 30 light year mark, which is a significant boost from where I started out at just 26 light years. Now do keep in mind that this ship really isn't optimized for the long distance travel, and 31 light years, so that's a big boost over where we started out. Grade 5 is now unlocked. Let's see where this takes us. So I've still got weapons fitted to this ship, only 2 of them, and I've also got a vehicle hangar on it. All of these reduce down your initial jump distance, and with a really long distance spec ASP, you can normally get a default of around about 33 plus light years. So coming here and getting a boost on top of that might even be able to get you close to 40. I don't know yet, but let's see where we are now. I'm betting on that as my ASP is currently fitted, this will get us around 33. Though I didn't really like that roll, so let's see if we can get that a little bit better. And well, it's these secondary effects which seem to have a bit of an impact sometimes. That's brought that one up. Let's hope that nothing actually gets reduced because of those. And it looks like we're good, so I'm going to apply this one, and finally we can see what a grade 5 FSD upgrade actually gives us. 33 light years. That's actually a massive improvement. But the question is going to be in just how long that actually takes and how much work is going to be involved in all of that. Well, I think that's long enough rolling the dice with Felicity. I'll be back with more videos on the beta very soon. For now though, thanks for watching, and I'll catch you guys and girls next time. This is Space Engine. I'm Obsidian Ant, and today we're going to go on a tour through space. Now, Space Engine, for those of you that don't know, is a fully simulated universe. You can go absolutely anywhere within it, any planet, any star, any galaxy, any nebula, literally anywhere you can imagine. The galaxies out there are full of natural wonders, full of beauty. It's absolutely stunning places like these two massive planets here. Now these two planets are extremely hot, very close to their local star. The one in the background there is a gas giant, and this planet here is known as a scorched desert, despite the massive